Miss Trine's back, and we're doing graphing in vertex form. So let's just jump right in. Go to page 5. Okay, so today we're only going to fill out the vertex form side of this chart. Crazy, I know, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Our formula for vertex form is A, and then in parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. So there's our formula. And the purpose of this formula, it's just easy to find the vertex. So easy to find the vertex. All right, so what that vertex is h and then k. The axis of symmetry, which is one thing that we talked about during the characteristics, is still just going to be x equals whatever the x value is in that point, or the h value, so whatever that is. Next thing we're talking about is if a is bigger than 0, then it's going to open up and look like a smiley face. But if a is less than 0, smaller than 0, meaning negative, it's going to be a nice, sad, open down face. Okay, so there's kind of the basics for what you need to know about vertex form. But let's go ahead and just start practicing that way, because practice makes perfect. All right, so given this form, here I can write it up at the top again. So it's y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. In this case, we only have an x squared, so that means that h is 0 and k is 0. Okay, and we can see that a is just 1, because it's not there. And 1 is bigger than 0, so this is going to open up. And remember, our axis of symmetry is just x equals whatever this number is, and in this case, it's 0. So let's go ahead and fill out the chart. So anytime you find the vertex, I want you to write it in the middle spot on your table. So we're going to fill in 0, 0. From that, it's going to help us find the other points. So you're going to go up 2 from 0 and down 2 from 0. So I'm going to write 0, 1, 2. Okay, cool. Those are bigger than 0. And then negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so there's the starting spot for my table. Well, now let's go ahead and find what these values will be. This is what we've got to find next. And how we do that is just by plugging it in. So we're going to take this first negative 2 and plug it into our equation. So that's negative 2 squared. Well, negative 2 squared is 4. So we're putting a 4 here. The next one we're doing is negative 1. Well, negative 1 squared gets you 1. The next one that we're doing is positive 1. 1 squared gets you 1. And then the last one that we're doing is 2. So 2 squared gives you 4. So this is 4, and then this one is 1. So one thing I want you guys to see when you're filling out the table is that you're going to have some numbers that are going to match. And if you haven't noticed, the first and the last are going to match, and the second and the fourth are going to match. So given that table, we can use those points to graph on our graph. So our first point, we could do negative 2, 4, which is right here. The next one is negative 1, 1. Then we've got 0, 0. We got 1, 1, and we've got 2, 4, which is here. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that. Perfect. And the one thing I want to finish graphing is my axis of symmetry. So remember, it just goes straight through the vertex. So there's my graph. That's everything I've got to do to graph something in vertex form. Okay, so let's do it again. All right. So if we're taking a look at example number 2, we can see that A is 1. So again, that means it's going to go up. Our vertex is 2, -2. Remember, this is H and this is K. Our H, you're going to flip the sign, but our K, you keep the same. So our vertex is 2, -2. And that means our axis of symmetry is x equals 2 because that's the number here. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is start filling out my table. And remember, the first thing that you put is your vertex. So our vertex here is 2, -2. Excuse me. So from 2, I need to go up 2 and down 2. So that's 3, 4, and that's 1, 0. So I filled out the rest of my x values. Now let's fill out my y values. So we got to plug in 0. So I've got 0 minus 2 squared minus 2. So that gives us -2 squared minus 2, which gives you 2. Then we've got 1 that we're going to plug in. So that's 1 minus 2 squared minus 2. Okay, so we can see that that's a -1 squared minus 2, which gives you a -1. So this one is a -1. Then we're doing 3. So we plug 3 minus 2 squared minus 2, which gives you 1 squared minus 2, which gives you -1. And again, those should match. So then that means when we plug in 4, we should get 2. Well, let's go ahead and graph that. So let's see. We're going to start at 0, 2. Then we're going to do 1, -1, 2, -2, 3, -1, and 4, 2. Which looks good. Now let's go ahead and connect those dots, make it go on forever, and not forget those arrows. Last thing we have to graph, easiest part, our axis of symmetry, which goes straight through our vertex at 2. So there's our beautiful and colorful graph. Let's do another one. Alright, so this one here, let's analyze it, okay? So the first thing that we're looking at is A, and we can see that A is -2. So that means finally it opens down. Our vertex in this case is -1, 4. So our axis of symmetry is x equals -1, because that's what that number is. Well, let's go ahead and transfer that over to our graph. So remember, it goes in the middle. So we're putting -1, and then 4. So remember, you got to go 2 up from that and 2 down. So I've got -1, 0, 1, and then -2, -3. Okay, well, let's go ahead and plug some stuff in. So let's plug in -3. So we've got -2, -3 plus 1 squared plus 4. And when you plug that, and these are starting to get more challenging, so it's okay to use your calculator. Don't be intimidated by it. But when we plug this in our calculator, we get -4. So this one is -4. The next one that we need to plug in is -2. So we're putting -2, parentheses, -2 plus 1 squared plus 4. When you plug that in your calculator, you see that you get 2. And keep in mind, this number is going to be the same, and this last number, these two are going to be the same. Okay, but I don't want you guys to always get in the habit of doing that. I would still check it just to make sure that you got the right number. Every once in a while, you might make a little error. So let's go ahead and transfer that to our graph. We've got -3, -4. We've got -2, 2. We've got -1, 4. We've got 0, 2, and we've got 1, -4. We're going to go ahead and connect the dots, draw our arrows, and last but not least, we have to graph the axis of symmetry, which is a vertical line through that vertex. All right, we've got one more that I want to practice, but I want you to pause it. I want you to do it in your booklet, and then I want you to check your answers. Like, actually do it. Like, actually try. Like, you can do this. Okay, so make me shut up and hit pause. All right, guys, this is what you should have gotten. So, yes, there might have been a little bit of decimals in there. That's all right. We will survive. Hey, hey. Okay, and your graph should look something like that. Don't forget your axis of symmetry and your arrows, okay? But go ahead, get started on your worksheet, and ask questions if you need help. Deuces!